sometimes the best games are games that borrow heavily from previous classics. And the reason why I bring this up is because I'm playing a brand new Game Boy Advance game called Karnaaj Rally, and it reminds me a lot of some previous racing games. But the first thing I got to do here is comment on why they spell Karnaaj with a K-A-R-N-A-A-J. How are you going to market a game with that as your title? I don't get it at all. The thing that this game reminds me of is a little bit of Super Sprint from the classic old 80s arcade game, a little bit of Micro Machines, the NES and Super Nintendo version of that, and RC Pro-Am, which was a great game for the Game Boy from Rare. You've got three opponents that are all trying to beat you off to the side of the edge of the track, or knock you into the water, or, you know, just do some damage to you some way. You've also got rockets and mines that you can shoot at your opponents, which is really fun. There's 3D polygon objects overhead that actually pass in the foreground, so it really gives you that illusion of 3D space. There's snow levels. There's sort of prehistoric Jurassic Park type levels. There's racetrack levels, which look like 3D Super Sprint, which is really cool. The cars get more advanced as you progress through the game. And of course, you can power them up with the rockets and the mines. You can also add armor, add more power to your engines, add more grip to your tires. You can place bets on your races, so if you win, you can earn more money and use that to spend on your vehicles. Yes, it's derivative, but I had a ton of fun with Karnaaj Rally. It's just too bad about that name. Pick it up. 8.5 out of 10. All right, we're back, and now we're going to talk about the Getaway from Sony Computer Entertainment Europe for PlayStation 2.
This game was going to be better than Grand Theft Auto. That's they were kind of touting it out to be. And graphically, it's a great game.
Right.
What they do in the game is impressive, the technology. But as far as the fun factor goes, there's so many little things that make it so frustrating and hard to play that it was really a major disappointment.
I agree with you that the game is littered with problems, and it's very frustrating, and there's lots of issues that come up while playing the game. We can't forget what an amazing, ambitious project this is. These guys have really gone out of their way to build a fully fleshed out interactive film that doesn't feel exactly like any other video game out there. I mean, even Grand Theft Auto, as much of a free-form entertainment as it is, it didn't really hold together as much of a story as this game does.
You want to see your kid alive, you do exactly what I say. You talk to anyone, you're late, or you let me down. Your kid died. Do I make myself clear? Crystal.
They wanted this to be completely realistic.
Right.
So they do not give you any kind of on-screen map ever.
Right.
This is the biggest problem with the game.
No cursor, no health bar.
By doing that, they're completely taking away all of the fun
I
factor
disagree with that.
and all of the thing,
I
and they
disagree.
make it frustrating.
I disagree
For
with that.
example, the only way you know how to get someplace is if your blinker's going on.
I think that's great.
And it's ridiculous because most of the time, you come to a T in the end of the road,
Right.
and it won't tell you to turn left or right. You have to get lost first and then put you back on track.
That's fine.
The targeting is not fine. The way the car controls is absolutely ridiculous. It's way too touchy.
It's touchy.
It makes the game completely unfun.
You're going over the top on it. It's not
going over the
fun.
top.
It's touchy.
No.
You can still play the game.
Throughout the game, you end up teaming up with this woman, Yasmin. Now, her main objective, okay, is to shoot and defend everything for you. And you're always getting chased by the cops.
What's one more suicide mission? I'm going to do it, but not for real. I'm going to need the money so me and Alex can blow town. And I can pay you back.
You're trying to get from point A to point B, and your car gets smashed up. You need her to get out of the car and get into another car. And this happened to me a million times. Instead of her hurrying up and getting in the car, which should be her main objective, she'll stay for the gunfight, end up getting killed, and now I have to go all the way back and start 20 minutes more of frustrating gameplay and level design. They did an incredibly awesome job in detailing every single manhole cover and storefront in all of London.
Well,
That's
40
great.
miles of London.
That's great if you know London.
Right.
The problem is
But you don't
that
get
we're
to know
so
London.
used. Yeah, well, not without a map, you're not going to. The problem is because you are in London. I'm always trying to drive on the what we consider the right side of the road, and the steering wheel's on the wrong side.
What do
For
you-
people in the UK,
that's the setting
great
of the
because that's
story,
what
man.
they're used to. I know, but as a video game player who's driven on the right side the whole life, and that the steering wheel's on the left side of the car, to me, I have to relearn my whole driving thing.
I got used to it. I enjoyed this game. 7.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 6.5.
On the positive side, you've got 40 square miles of London to explore. The graphics and sound effects are unbelievable in this game. And this is some of the best voice acting you're going to find in video games today.
On the negative side, the steering wheel's on the wrong side, and you have to drive on the left side of the road. The driving controls are really, really touchy. And finally, overall, this game is near impossible, very difficult to play.
This week we're taking a look at a different kind of wireless setup for the PlayStation 2. This one's from Sci-Tech. They call it the WOW system.
Wow!
Which means without wires. It's got a transmitter and a receiver, and you actually plug your regular PlayStation 2 controllers into the transmitter, and you can move that little transmitter anywhere you want to around the room.
It's not really wireless.
No.
You still have a wire on your controller.
It's kind of like a virtual extension cord for each of
Okay,
your
but
controllers.
why wouldn't you just pay the $2 or the $8, whatever it is, to just buy an extension cord?
Inside each of those components is a little battery pack, and they give you 4 rechargeable batteries. You need batteries to operate the transmitter part. The other cool thing that this thing has is a pass-through. You can actually stick in another controller or a multi-tap or whatever. It's supposed to give you flawless RF, like no interference, no problems, no worries. You got 30-foot radius. I had problems. I plugged in my Wavebird first time, plugged everything in, and it worked perfectly. It is now the controller I use for my GameCube. I want the same thing for the PlayStation 2, so I cannot recommend the Sci-Tech WOW.
Me either.
On the positive side, this is a very unique product offered by Sci-Tech. It has rechargeable batteries, which is very nice, and it has a pass-through feature, so you can hardwire a DVD remote or a controller right to the PlayStation 2.
On the negative side, even though this is a wireless unit, you're still going to have wires connecting your controller to the device. We found that there were some RF interference and lag problems when we were playing. For the price, it makes a lot more sense to just go out and get a cable extension.
Stick around. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of new, old Resident Evil games for the GameCube.